On August 13th, the Victoria City Council held a specially called meeting to share the findings of the Water System Review Subcommittee that was appointed by Mayor Duane Crocker following the first boil water notice back in July. The goal of this subcommittee is to complete a thorough assessment of our water system, including the root causes of both boil water notices, in order to identify and implement concrete measures to improve our system.
But Council's responsibility is to focus on verified facts, not speculation, so that our solutions are well-founded and lasting and meaningful.
The subcommittee is made up of 3 members of council as well as members of city staff. The subcommittee is still working on its final report, but we do know that the boil water notices that happened in July and August were due to a combination of human error, short staffing, and unclear operating procedures.
In both instances, the issues experienced with the water supply could have been prevented through attentiveness to data, through effective decision-making, and timely adherence to established protocols.
We'll hear more about that in just a minute. Next, City Manager Jesus Garza provided the Water System Review Subcommittee update. The subcommittee's work began with an overview of our water system, including treatment processes. Once a year, the city conducts a chlorine conversion to prevent nitrification. Nitrification is a natural biological process that can lead to reduced chlorine residuals. The city also follows a nitrification action plan, which includes targeted measures like flushing when nitrification is detected. In the case of the first boil water notice, staff did not take the appropriate measures quickly enough due to poor internal communications, staffing shortages, and a lack of standard operating procedures.
But understanding what went wrong and where we have points of weakness, I think, is important to help us come out stronger at the end of this.
The second boil water notice happened while a chlorine conversion was taking place, and the problem originated in a remote area of the system where the chlorine conversion had not yet reached. Although staff were able to correct the problem that same day that it was detected, TCEQ still required the city to issue a citywide boil water notice. Staffing shortages and communication lapses between shifts played a role in the delayed response and potentially contributed to the second boil water notice.
And I want to be very clear that in spite of TCEQ's decision to not grant that grace period, we could have prevented this.
So, what happens next? The subcommittee has provided some preliminary recommendations in 3 focus areas: people, process, and technology. On the people side, Public Works is increasing daily oversight and management, developing a game plan to address staffing issues, and working to better cross-train existing staff. In the areas of process, Public Works is implementing a more robust testing schedule and working with TCEQ to provide training on topics like nitrification and standard operating procedures. As for technology, we've already made the switch to electronic testing logs, and we're looking to additional software and hardware upgrades that will help us to identify and correct any issues.
You have my 100% commitment that we'll do our part as management to ensure that change happens.
The subcommittee will continue working with staff to recommend further improvements. Once the subcommittee's work is complete, they will provide a comprehensive written report to the public. For more information, visit victoriatx.gov/water.
Our responsibility as city leadership is to deal in facts. And obviously, this is a very fact-intensive presentation. And I want to thank our residents for their patience.